Quite recently, on the Tower Defense Simulator Discord, they have posted some new leaks for the upcoming update which involves PvP game modes. Now, the only post that appears to have this is on YouTube, where Paradox Games published a new video on YouTube with the video title, "The Arena is Calling Your Name." Now, this video is actually just a YouTube short of what appears to be a render of the area of the lobby which has the PvP game mode statues and the commander standing triumphantly upon the zombies which are holding the weight of the commander. More accurately, this render actually depicts this here, which is literally just called PvP, much like how the event area, if there's like an event on, is said to be event. The crates area, where you open the crates, is said to be crates, and the survival game mode elevators, they are shown off to be here, alongside a subsection of hardcore mode seen towards the back. Now, fairly obviously, this is alluding to the upcoming PvP game mode, which has been said to be coming soon, as seen here, coming soon, PvP game mode, and has said to be coming soon quite recently on the 4th of July update and the first time user update, as well as the skill tree update and I believe the Hacker Tower update as well. So since v1.67.0, a full 6 weeks ago, the PvP game mode has said to be coming. There is even an event for the PvP game mode, v1.71.0. We are currently on v1.70.0, so it is likely that the developers do not have anything planned for next week in any update capacity whatsoever, purely because if there would be a midweek cycle update between the two major updates of the PvP game mode and the Summer Battle Pass, it wouldn't be called v1.71.0, this PvP game mode thing, it'll be v1.72.0. Because updates during the midweek, aka on the Wednesday, they typically tick over the second number into the next number. So v1.70.0, for example, that is the Summer Battle Pass, and then the next number along, the v1.71.0, that is the next major update being PvP game mode. However, with that being said, this ordering can change, as seen previously with the Walmart Discovered Battle Pass, where it was actually inserted in the midweek cycle, and it thereby knocked down, I believe, the Hacker Tower update number by another number. So who knows, maybe there's going to be another Walmart sponsorship which replaces the Discovered Farm for like the completely new Walmart skin. We'll just have to wait and see for that. Now, the video itself doesn't have much other than that, apart from possibly the music. Now, this could be the music for a potential new PvP game mode soundtrack that Focus or Enthralist could be making. Or this could just be some irrelevant piece of thing that Profine might have cooked up when he was making this trailer. I assume Profine made this trailer because it's a render. There is no description for this video. It has no description, has been added to this video. I assume shorts uploaded by Paradox Games. They don't typically have a description. However, I do believe one of the music producers, I don't know if it was Enthralist or if this was Focus, they did say that music would be uploaded for the new PvP game mode. Maybe not necessarily for the ambience, the survival ambience. It'd probably be borrowed either from like Intermediate, maybe Fallen, maybe stuff like that. And perhaps the new music could be just for the bosses that spawn in. Now, as of currently right now, there's the bosses in PvP game mode. They aren't unique to PvP game mode. They are just borrowed from, say, Fallen mode. They are borrowed from multi-mode. It depends on which rank of PvP game modes you do. However, do bear in mind that that was the last test for PvP game modes. They did have low rank, mid rank, and high rank matches depending on the level that you were in Tower Defense Simulator. So I believe anyone lower than level 50 had the low rank matches, anyone higher than level 50 and lower than level 100 had the mid-rank matches, and anyone higher than level 100 had high-rank matches. Now, the developers have stated that ELO would be the new ranking system in Tower Defense Simulator rather than levels, because levels is kind of imperfect. You might have a level 300 player who may be stupid as fuck, but you may have like a level 100 player who may be actually skilled at the game. They just don't play it that often. This is in fact what is stated in the Roblox event. Here it says, battle opponents with similar ELO scores for consistently balanced and exciting matches. So likely it is those with a high ELO ranking which will get high ranked matches, whereas those with low ELO rankings or those that intentionally lose games would probably get a low rank match. I must imagine that for the initial games for PvP mode, it would pair you up with similar people with your levels, because, I mean, when you start off playing PvP mode, you wouldn't have an elo, unless, like, your elo is defaulted to 600 as it is in chess.com, I believe. In any case, it doesn't look like it'll be level-based, it does look like it'll be elo-based. As part of the other description, this bit here, compete side by side in mirrored arenas, defend your lane, and send waves of attackers to overwhelm your rivals. That is pretty bog standard. Doesn't really mention consumables, because last time, I believe we did have consumables. We had like the air horn and like the energy drink, sponsored by Prime. It doesn't seem like it's mentioned here, but we'll just have to wait and see if there's going to be PvP exclusive consumables, which I still think it's going to happen. It just probably is going to be a better implementation than it was previously. Head-to-head battles, compete solo in 1v1 duels or team up for thrilling 2v2 showdowns. 4 players, 2 lanes, 0 mercy. Doesn't mention anything about 3v3 or 4v4. Likely these aren't going to be matches that are going to be supported by PvP game modes. In fact, the highest amount of people that is supported in the server in Tower Defense Simulator is a 3v3. Yet that isn't mentioned here. Only 1v1s and 2v2s, which is the case for the previous PvP testings. Those are the ones that have been used. Also, I don't know what happens if you're paired with someone with a drastically different elo score to you. I'd imagine in that case, they might just average it out, and they may not actually allow low elo scores to be paired with high elo scores, unless you invite them specifically to your party beforehand. Interestingly, in the dual focus gameplay, master defense and offense simultaneously, construct powerful towers while strategically sending units to sabotage your opponents. Doesn't mention anything about using consumables as part of the tactics, so we don't know. In other important news, apparently one of the developers, Tyler, confirmed that there's going to be a remodel for the Archer Tower. This isn't kind of important because when the Archer Tower was rebalanced, it didn't get a remodel like any other event tower. In fact, any other regular tower, when they are rebalanced, they typically get a remodel as well, especially for old towers. Not all of the recent towers, in fact none of the recent towers that have been rebalanced did get a remodel, because they already got remodeled like quite a while back, and their models they're like currently recent, so they fit with the current design language of Tower Defense Simulator. The Archer, on the other hand, doesn't. It's a bold tower, and I don't know if you noticed, but towers in Tower Defense Simulator, they're no longer bold if they've been recently remodeled. So that's a scout, that's a sniper, that's a demoman, that's the hunter, that's a soldier, freezer, militant, shotgunner. Pyromancer hasn't been recently remodeled yet though. Rocketeer, trapper, crook boss, electroshocker, commander, warden, cowboy. Okay, minigunner, fair enough. But for the most part, any remodeled towers and any towers that have been recently rebalanced, they don't typically have baldness. Not the case for the Archer Tower. The Archer Tower kept its models and didn't get a significant change in its appearance. And it's likely that, with the confirmation that Tyler has said that the Archer will be getting changes to its model, somewhere down the line, the Archer will probably be resold when it's remodeled as a completely new tower. However, I wouldn't hold your breath for it. I don't even know if it's going to become before Christmas, because, let's be real, there are some more important things until then, including the release of the game called Alter Ego. Now, interestingly, the developers have also posted some Alter Ego leaks, but that's a separate video. Now, it should be stated that this is just a moderator who says that Tyler already confirmed it in Jordan's stream, if I recall correctly. Now, so this is just speculation at the end of the day. Although the stream that they're talking about, I believe, is the person which the Jordan Brawler, a recent content creator skin that was added in 2025, is based upon. And I believe they were one of the people who were trying to figure out the Hidden Wave, which is why they have their own skin, and the origins of the 32 meme. So I guess they do have some pedigree in Tower Defense Simulator, so if it's true that Tyler confirmed it in a stream of his, I would have to assume that it is kinda, or it was at least planned to be added soon. Now, one more thing that I don't think I've actually mentioned, but back on the 16th of June 2025, when Out of Bears was telling people that the Hidden Wave wasn't removed, you just needed to disable skills, Outer Bears said that we are planning on revamping the trigger for the Hidden Wave at some point. Now, currently, the triggers for the Hidden Wave are, you have to say the numbers associated with the original Hidden Wave, so that's 1009, 120, and 1. The other requirements include beating the Fallen King in under a minute, and also getting your base health down to 1. Now, the hardest achievement to do this, or the hardest trigger to actually get, is probably the base health down to 1. However, with Outer Bears saying that they are revamping the trigger at some point, it could be the case where those 3 requirements, they're just completely thrown out the window, and it could return back to a speed running based thing as it was back in the day. It was just purely get under 1009 minutes to trigger the Hidden Wave. With that being said though, with the recent rebalances, they'll probably have to get a load of testing to do that if they were to revert to that. However, that's probably the most fair way of revamping the trigger while also allowing people to use skills to activate the Hidden Wave. You may be allowed to use skills, for example, but the timer for the Fallen mode run, when you're trying to trigger the Hidden Wave, may account for the fact that you're using consumables, it may account for the fact that you're using skills. So on the assumption that people are using consumables and they're using skills, they might lower the time requirements for the Hidden Wave, although that is just speculation. We don't know what the developers do plan to revamp the trigger for the Hidden Wave 2.